But now onto something that is also affecting our children and making news across the country is the issue of illicit drugs, pill testing and drug-related deaths amongst our kids. Research by the 2016 National Drug Strategy Household Survey found that by age 19, 1 in 5 young people have tried an illicit drug. To protect them from this, it could be as simple as having the conversation about drugs with your kids, giving them the facts before they're in risky situations. Have you had the discussion with your boys about drugs, about illicit drugs?
Yeah, to be honest, we had the drugs conversation before we had the sex conversation.
Right. And how old were the boys?
Oh, 5.
Five. So you talked to them about illicit drugs when they were 5. How did they take it?
Well,
or how did you explain it?
Okay, so at the time when my kids were first starting school, there was an episode of men giving drugs to young kids through the schoolyard fences.
Wow.
Right. So we just had the conversation, you don't take anything out of anybody's hands except for mum and dad. So that was as simple as the conversation was. And as they got older and they started, you know, further into primary school, we had more conversations about it. But also I had to learn about it because I had never done drugs. So I had to learn what drugs were, what they looked like, what the little symbols were about.
Where did you go and find all that information? Okay,
Internet.
wow.
I talked with my friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I'm not educated, how can I educate my kids?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, for some parents, educating your kid about drugs, does it not then encourage them or say, well, mum's okay with taking drugs?
You think just from educating they're going to say that?
I know with the pill testing situation, there's parents that talk about, no, we shouldn't be testing these drugs because then it just tells our kids that, yeah, you can have drugs. This is just a safe way of, limitising, I guess, people taking drugs.
Yeah.
But does it?
I think it's a very different conversation from young kids where you're starting to teach them about, you teach them about healthy food and then you can teach them about other things that they put inside their bodies as well.
Truth be told, we live in a society that drugs, sex, all that is glamorised and they listen to it all the time.
It's
easy access for young
sometimes
kids.
free.
Yes.
So parents need to have this discussion. So you agree, have the discussion early
and keep continuing to
but
have
I think,
it.
is the discussion really about drugs or the reason why they're going to do it? Is it about peer pressure? It's not just purely the drugs conversation. It's like, do you want to be part of the in crowd? Do you want to be someone who's doing something different from everyone else? Do you want to escape from your reality? I feel like there are other conversations.
Do you think as a parent you'll be able to control the influences your child has, like in terms of the friends that they have?
Yeah, you can to a point.
Yeah, you foster what you can.
Yeah, and we became friends with our children's friends. So we were friends with their parents. So it didn't matter which way they turned, we knew what was going on. If they weren't talking to us, we were talking to our friends.
Talk to our kids' friends, and we've even had some of these conversations with our kids' friends' parents.
That's it.
To see what page they're on, to say, okay, where am I going to direct this friendship?
Would you end a friendship if you could see that it wasn't kind of...
I would steer away from it for sure.
And it depends again how old they are. I've had conversations with the boys when I'm not happy about the way one of their friends has treated them or has done something. We've had that conversation. So it's all about keeping the lines of communication open in whatever form that takes so that you know what's going on in your kids' lives without having to be right in the depth of it. Like, you can stand back and breathe because you know what's going on around you.
Having said that, you cannot predict anything that's coming up.
No.
Like, I know some kids, if you had that talk too young with them, they'd be very interested.
Yes.
They don't need to try and learn. Whereas other kids would be like, okay, I'll take that on board. So it's just a matter of managing the kids as well, because they're all different.
And we were very lucky. Our kids hung out with Christian children and we tried to point them in a Christian way of life.
Which is great.
Which I think helps.
Good stuff, Shona. Look, there needs to be more education around drug use and its effects. If you are concerned about your own drug use or that of a family member, friend or colleague, talk to your general practitioner. There are also many organisations which are able to provide help. Just contact the numbers on the screen and get help before it's too late.